Here's a bear riding shotgun in a motorcycle sidecar.
This is Tao. He's about 14 years old. Right, Tao?
This Russian journalist that we are going to show you, four-legged heckler, decided to run away with her microphone.
You may not have seen everything just when you thought you have, from showcases of extreme intelligence to unwarranted behavior.
You help me.
Here are some animal moments that, if they weren't filmed, no one would have believed them to be true.
I know.
Just when this panda thought about relaxing on its newly acquired luxury chair, it not only failed him, but was also the cause of embarrassment in front of all the visitors at the enclosure. The playful panda tossed it away before continuing with its playful demeanor. While no one knows what crime this mouse had committed, the fact remained that a pack of dogs was viciously looking after it, while it seemed to be scared out of its wits. Luckily, none of the dogs were smart enough to spot it hiding just under their nose in plain sight. This isn't some Jedi asking to be handed over his lightsaber in a fight. Rather, it was asking for a treat that it was very much owed.
Come on, lady, just give me the apple. Sick of this monkey business. I know why you're here, you know why I'm here.
However, his stance, his expression, his hair, it's all perfectly depicted as if he were the main character. Though there's only a difference of size among the both of them, despite that, this little primate dared to pull this stunt. While an orangutan was enjoying a banana in Tanjung Puting National Park in Indonesia, it was rudely interrupted. Now, obviously, no one appreciates having food stolen from their mouth, but this little monkey had to learn the hard way by squealing. The little monkey, however, lived to see another day. The best course of action after committing the crime of making a mess is not to run away or lie, but turn into a con artist and play the victim. A pet squirrel, after dropping a floor brush, attempted to garner sympathy to avoid the risk of taking the heat. It did so by pretending as if the brush fell onto it, and that it was just the poor victim. Seems like the squirrel has broken far more valuable things for it to take such a measure. While attempting to feed, the girl accidentally dropped her phone as a result of sudden surface breaching by the beluga whale.
Oh my God!
Upon realizing its mistake and how most young adults today can't spend too much time off the screen, it decided to fetch the very phone that this girl would have otherwise lost. What's scary about big cats or felines isn't just their huge size or ferocious nature, but also their level of intelligence that goes with it. While taking a safari trip in South Africa, a family was caught with a surprise when they stopped by a pride of lions. One of the lionesses approached their vehicle, and then this happened.
I know. You're supposed to lock the door.
This lioness is certainly a fast learner.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know they could do that.
It's one thing to show human-like behavior, and totally another when shown along with skill and confidence. An orangutan was recorded from the dashboard of the golf cart it was driving around to what looked like some type of wildlife enclosure. It didn't just leave the human bystanders appalled, but also the other wild animals, such as a white tiger that appeared within the clip. You'd probably be more prepared to see a yeti in the snow while out skiing than an ostrich snow skiing. Now, it isn't just skiing, but also seems to be enjoying itself and showing off all its moves in the process. The most impressive top of all that is that it can even be seen jumping and making perfect landings, exhibiting a very human-like character. Two veterinarians were treating an adult rhino's dislocated toe after putting it to sleep, when the baby rhino, feeling protective of its mother, didn't just stand by watching, but also kept on charging them periodically in an attempt to fend them off, sensing them a great risk to its unconscious parent. No matter the circumstance, the language of love always reciprocates with a strong spirit. Usually, humans and kangaroos may not tend to get along very well, almost as if there were some rivalry. But this case, however, was quite different. A kangaroo made its way into the urban part of Australia and was either traumatized or helplessly stranded in a large pool of water until it was rescued.
Oh, well done.
In doing so, the kangaroo had to shake the hand of the humans who saved it. At this point, it's safe to say that orangutan could safely take over the humans just as smoothly as this one took that jacket. During a private visit to a zoo in Dubai, one of them had his jacket taken off candidly by an orangutan, who didn't seem to have the intention to return it.
Oh, he's taking your jacket off? Oh my God. Take it off, help him. Help him.
As smart as orangutans are, it's only a matter of time until they realize they can take over everything, with humans reacting with no more than a smile. Of all the risks that you could prepare for and take caution against that would result in your boat sinking or capsizing, you would never have ever predicted such a thing like this to happen. In 2 different cases, a walrus and a sea lion climbed their way onto the boat for some tanning.
I don't think this boat owner likes sea lions anymore.
The walrus, nicknamed Freya, was just a bit too heavy for the max capacity of the boat, leading to its sinking, along with several other boats that it got onto. The case of the sea lion seems to look no different.
New technology could eventually be introduced to zoos right around the world.
Judging by the smile of this one, it almost seems like the world is doomed if that glass breaks. Orangutans may be one of the smartest, most intelligent beings, and it looks like they could also very soon turn out to be equally evil as well. The gentle yet quite sinister-looking smile of this orangutan almost seems as if it's hiding something. If you haven't had the pleasure of sitting on your dad's body or upper chest at a young age, such as this, well, you missed out on some memories big time. This rooster from a breed of small chicks was expressing his love with his bundle of joy in one of the most unusual, above and beyond manners, almost like a human father. While this might seem to be a 2-in-1 type of animal, that isn't exactly the case here. A giant anteater's second head is actually a camouflaged arm that is fluffy and tricks predators into thinking it's got a set of eyes and a nose, creating an amazing optical illusion. This confuses as well as intimidates its predators. Good karma works exactly the same as the bad, with this case being the golden example. A baby Asian elephant nicknamed Kamla didn't hesitate to jump into a river to save a man who rescued her 1 year ago. After supposedly thinking of him being in trouble. Once the juvenile elephant realized that the man wasn't actually in trouble, it wouldn't at least owe him anything. This is when all the jokes and giggles turned into a serious cause of concern. When this orangutan held the girl as leverage,
Can you help me?
Okay.
in exchange for it to be fed by the visitors and or the caregivers.
Ow! Sisizong!
After venturing down this road, the ape decided to let her go when the outcome wasn't as rewarding as expected. When faced with a certain end, this deer decided to make a very unexpected move that actually happened to work in its favor. A hunter that was only seconds away from hunting down a deer, instead of fleeing or facing off the hunter, decided to use the hunter's weakness of love and affection against him.
Can I just hang out with you? Thanks for not shooting me. I appreciate it. He pets him!
Judging by what had caught the deer's attention in the bushes, it could mean that the deer was solving both his problems with a single move. Meanwhile, this one, who usually is quite social, interacting with the crowd, resorted to flirting with some young girls, spraying them with a bit of water. Pleased with his antics, it swam away. Seeing the reaction and body language of this lion shows that it understood every word, though it didn't really appreciate the one saying it.
Really cold. He can go into his den in the back. Right, Tao?
Tao the lion, while being talked about by news reporter Haley Winslow in its presence, was polite enough to be cooperative and patient to wait for her to finish before giving its choice of reaction. Though humans and animals can't speak the same language, all the mothers have the same frequency when it comes to their baby, or any other baby in distress, as a matter of fact.
No. This is my baby.
A young mother found a deer running towards her cabin upon hearing the baby's noise and mistaking it to be its own.
This one's my baby.
Either this, or maybe the deer had plans to be the foster mother. Seeing this cow almost seems like it's sitting ducks on purpose, and as per its choosing. An August 2022 footage made on the internet showed a cow blocking canal water while sitting down calmly. Whether you call it to be a selfless service to its kind to be able to drink, or just that this cow was brooding upon a terrible life existence, it is fascinating to see it blocking such a wide stream of water on its own. Who'd have thought that birds also have a cab service of their own? Footage taken from back in April 2021 shows two seagulls hanging out together in one of the most unfashioned manners. Seeing one of them riding the other is almost as if both of them are a pair on a honeymoon, or just two birds that are very close to each other. You know how infants or toddlers develop a bad habit of being pampered all the time? Well, it's a little too late in the case of this one. A couple of construction workers were clearing the way for the electric lines when they came across this fawn trapped in the fall path of the tree.
We found this baby deer, and we're moving it out of the way so it doesn't get smashed by a tree.
Being pretty shaken up, they started rubbing its belly to calm him down.
We started rubbing its belly, and now when we go to put it down, it freaks out until we start rubbing its belly again.
Which worked a little too well, as you can see. This isn't some large and antagonizing looking marine animal, rather one making itself look bigger. Octopuses are renowned for their extraordinary capability to adapt their color, texture, and form to blend seamlessly with their surroundings, employing camouflage as a defense strategy. While their typical camouflage involves blending into their environment, imitating larger creatures might be a less frequent occurrence. The frequency and degree of this behavior can differ among octopus species and situations. You know your place is a bit too much of a mess when you find a mouse having had enough of it. In January 2024, a retired postman who, after noticing his place being made to be less untidy over several months, set up a CCTV camera to investigate, only to find an industrious mouse picking up items such as nuts and bolts, clothes pegs, and cable ties, and tidying them away into a box. Have you ever heard the good old phrase of "don't bite the hand that feeds you"? Well, these big cats know this as well. A zookeeper was attending to lionesses, tigers, and other big cats that he had raised himself, until one of them instinctively turned on him. With its back facing the leopard, it came charging towards the zookeeper, seemingly with a hunter instinct, until an observing tiger stepped in for the rescue by stopping that pursuing leopard. Leaving toddlers around animals unattended can be far riskier than leaving them on their own, and this almost turned into a perfect example. A French farmer's daughter was playing with a horse that almost mistakenly took her hair for straw, but realized just in time to spit it out immediately instead of pulling it. Had there been any other animal, let alone a horse, this could have taken a very dark end. How often do you get to see both the predator and the prey walking past each other in the wild like buddies? Probably never. A trail camera picked up an unexplainable sighting where a mountain lion and a deer were seen walking off, making it look like they were getting back home after a long day of acting for National Geographic. If you've ever been extremely late or done something that you're advised against, you'd get a similar vibe from their body language. A pack of gorillas made a sudden appearance, coming around almost as if they were all invisible. Seems like humans and ape kind are much closer than we might think. Speaking of which, seeing both these gorillas, you can make out that this is a married couple, as well as who is the male and the female. The male gorilla, while attempting to initiate communication with his better half, looks to be quite upset and non-talkative in the same manner, just as it would work with a human couple.
Oh my gosh.
The caution of watching out who you open up with isn't just limited to stalkers, but sometimes even animals. Take this case as an example. A girl was visiting the Phoenix Zoo and trying to get the attention of a mandrill baboon by showing off her teeth, and this was his response.
Oh my gosh.
It's all fun and games until it's suddenly not. Hunting for bucks may seem a sport for some, but a tragedy for the families or friends of the ones that fall. Like this buck who explicitly expressed themselves. A hunter who, after taking down a buck, was coming in for the grab until he stopped 40 yards away, seeing another buck rushing towards its buddy.
It's crazy. So, we are here.
Once realizing what happened and spotting the one who did it, it expressed his sorrow, vengeful gaze, and hard foot stepping, saying it all. That buck has a taste for blood now. These two lovers were too caught up in their act. Little did they know a starving crab was around. Two squids by the deep dark ocean floor were mating until a comparatively larger crab interrupted them. The female was bogged down both by the feeding crab and the mating male squid, who moments later abandoned her. Perhaps this would have turned out differently if the squids were committed. But anyhow, the squid community will always remember the diver being there and doing nothing. Despite being two completely different animal species, they're far more civilized towards each other than Democrats and Republicans.
Alright, you my guy, so I'ma feed you even though I can get in trouble. Alright, don't be greedy now.
A chimpanzee who looks to have buddied up with a turtle or a tortoise and sharing an apple almost as if it stole the fruit and is in a hurry to finish it to avoid getting caught. Considering how massive the whales tend to be, one might think that their powerful mouths would also be as unforgiving. A diver was filming a school of sardines until a massive whale appeared and almost took the diver as a part of its mouthful, but was nice enough to immediately open its mouth to avoid swallowing the diver, who kicked through a bunch of sardines and made a run for it as well. What's special about this elephant isn't just that it can read human emotions, but also understand humor to prank.
Sorry, Tim. My sister just gave me that hat.
During World Elephant Day in August 2022, while filming a video with an elephant, the lone gentle giant caught the filming set and started to prank the posing lady by smoothly taking off her hat and hiding it in his mouth. It even showed the end of its trunk like, "Hey, I swear I don't have it," until it can be seen pulling it out of its mouth and placing it back on her head.
Can I have my hat back?
Feeling left out? Well, this deer decided to join in with the young children who were enjoying getting wet in the muddy water by jumping in and around all over the area within their presence. The fact that it wasn't too far off or too close shows that it was neither scared of them nor was violating anyone's personal space. There's nothing more daring than this horse, who during the California wildfires risked its life to rescue younger livestock from the stable that was on fire.
The horse is a grandmother, and she's coming to the rescue of her granddaughter, a 2-month-old foal named Onyx.
The elderly horse, despite pulling a nearly life-risking stunt, came out unscathed and was caught on camera by the rescue workers.
Here she is, and right here is the baby.
Be it a great white, tiger, or bull shark, they all can pose a serious life-threatening risk, especially when they get a bit too curious. A marine wildlife enthusiast shared this footage on her YouTube channel, showing herself being the center of interest of 2 tiger sharks.
She comes right up to me, and I wait to the last second until I have to deter her and push her away here.
Having fed them before, the sharks didn't resort to aggressive behavior, despite circling around and charging at her many times. While it's a good idea to get out, at the same time, it's a terrible one if that shark senses fear. This monkey was smart enough to figure out that all it takes to get freedom is pounding a stone onto the display glass. A zoo in central China's Henan province released this clip to the world, showing what they highlighted to be the most intelligent monkey. who, using a tiny pebble, almost broke the glass. This monkey certainly needs to be kept away from setting an example or giving its peers certain ideas. Aside from putting yourself to risk, feeding animals has another drawback, including having them develop ideas and/or expectations. A Louisville Zoo visitor was requested by an orangutan who started pointing at the bag, until it was figured out that it was asking for gummy snacks by the look of satisfaction on his face.
He's pointing at me. He's like, you, go around.
Once out, the orangutan even shows how it can be passed on to.
He's like, up there, we can do this.
If the amazing skills of this orangutan asking and showing around loopholes didn't impress you, well, this next one certainly will. This orangutan learned the importance and its way around using human tools for ease.
Despite being totally wild, somehow she has worked out what to do with it.
It knew how to carefully handle them, how to hold the cutting wood, and even blow air to clean off the dust to be able to further cut down on the wood precisely. No matter how much of a good swimmer you may be, there's always a limit after which exhaustion kicks in. Fishermen were heading out for a routine fishing trip when they found a lone monkey that was caught up in between the deep river water and looked to be only moments away from total exhaustion and even drowning. Fortunately, the boaters came around, offering a way out. If there is any way for an animal to create its deterrence, aside from demonstrating the potential of its ferociousness, it's this. A biker came across this wolverine, who displayed its way of intimidating or showing force by marching past, carrying a goat head, almost as if it were some kind of a warning to trespassers. When it comes to hunting tactics, this lion and lioness have their own way of taking care of things. The lioness, who probably was starving, decided to use her seductive tactics to distract the big male lion, whom she otherwise couldn't fight, and managed to distract him and attempt to run away with the prize at his most vulnerable moment. The lion, who though initially was tricked, quickly realized the ingenious plan before it was too late. This isn't the only case of a lion's peak hunting skills being rendered useless when this zoo lion lost track until it was out of balance, only to trip and fall into the water. Had this lion not been distracted, it would have saved itself the embarrassment.
This Russian journalist that we are going to show you got a taste of this as a four-legged heckler decided to run away with her microphone.
This dog either got too carried away with playing fetch or just wanted some attention that it snatched a microphone away from a reporter that was on live TV.
Показывать на этой неделе до 8 плюс 9 градусов. Иди сюда! Эй, стой! Стоять! Ну, судя по всему, связь с нашим...
Once the microphone was retrieved, the golden retriever got the very attention that it was craving. Imagine 1 minute you're walking the dog, and another, it's getting some news coverage. With lions also marking their territory by the odor of their pee, the intentions of this lion, however, are quite unclear. An August 2020 clip went viral where an adult lion, after briefly monitoring a reporter, turned around and sprayed her before walking away. Was that an intimidation tactic or just its way of coming back? Do share with us your opinions down in the comments. In the mandrill's defense, the walls of this enclosure were a bit too shallow to avoid from something like this happening. A visitor at the Augsburg Zoo caught a moment on camera showing a mandrill making its way out of the enclosure and peacefully just walking about the zoo. Next time, it's probably wise to build taller and more sophisticated places to hold them, huh? It's not just the brother that's at fault here, but that lioness herself as well. This dominant male lion from Kruger National Park caught his lioness and his brother together in the act, and he immediately intervened. Being the dominant lion, he manages to make a successful charge while the argumentative behavior continues. The female, however, displays from her body language almost as if her behavior is something quite common.
Apparently, they can climb fences.
Just when you'd think there's a solid structure to be safe from the gators, this one proved it otherwise. While passing through the road somewhere in Florida, this recorder caught a very interesting yet concerning development, showing how it passed over the fence easily. With this level of intelligence, it's clear that the potential of gators is being underestimated far too much. Depression hits everyone differently, but seeing something like this materialize is appalling. A driver notices not just one, but several deers in different instances jumping to their certain end.
He just jumped. Oh, dude.
While the possibilities of them miscalculating the presence of water under the bridge to finding a quick way out of a predator's pursuit. According to the witness who recorded it, this seems more like the case of a self-ending of its life, purposefully. You can tell by the plain and simple ratio of this donkey how far its differences go with the dog. While walking the dogs, one of them unknowingly comes into contact with an electric fence, only to react after getting stung immediately, sending the very donkey who it doesn't get along with into laughter. After all, who doesn't enjoy seeing their opponent get a taste of their own medicine? This, once again, is a case of selfless horses who risked their safety and well-being just to protect their master from aggressive stallions. The footage was taken on the public bridleway by the remote site. The horses resorted to kicking away the stallion under their masters and were safe before passing on the other side towards safety. This German Shepherd is not just trained and disciplined, but also very committed to its job. As you can see, it not only looks over the sheep as a shepherd, but also keeps the sheep from entering and grazing in the crop field. It makes several runs back and forth just to keep them away. When push comes to shove, even hyenas settle their differences by drowning their adversaries. A driver came across two hyenas where the dominant one was pulling the other into the water in an effort to drown him, being locked in a case of rivalry over territory. Seems like these hyenas always like to get their hands dirty just to get things done.
She's pretty far into the field now. If you see the large group of cows, they're literally following her.
Who'd have thought that even the cows despise a criminal on the run? Well, this herd of cows certainly did. While on a manhunt, despite the authorities having the upper hand on the bird in the air, the wanted woman always got away, until these cows banded together against her and pushed her towards the cops. Open discussion. This picture and video were taken in mid-2023, showing whatever one calls to be a jumbo slice. The footage depicts a man feasting on pizzas along with the gators in the swamps, followed by donuts and hot dogs, along with other different wild animals as well. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share in the comments and do like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.